defendants were sentenced to die in the gas.
All four defendants were headed to the gas chamber at San Quentin. This is where most stories end. But in Charlie Manson's case, his legend was just beginning.
Good afternoon, Mr. Manson. Would you have a seat, please?
When we return,
you've medicated me, you've burnt me, you've beat me, you've stabbed me, you've done everything you can do to me, and I'm still here, and you're still going to have to face the truth about this case sooner or later, if not here in the street.
It has been an extremely long trial, nearly 10 months, and with more trials facing him on 2 additional murder charges, the name of Charles Manson will be around for some time. Bill Curtis, CBS News, Los Angeles.
40 years after I spoke those words, Charles Manson and the helter-skelter story have taken root in the American imagination. Thousands of murder cases have come and gone since 1969, but the Manson murders still fascinate, perhaps more than any other.
I think the murders were probably the most bizarre in the recorded annals of American crime, and for whatever reason, people are fascinated by things that are very strange and bizarre.
But the bizarre nature of the crimes, I believe, doesn't fully explain why the case lives on.
Manson has come to represent the dark and malignant side of humanity, and for whatever reason, there's a side to human nature that is fascinated by pure, unalloyed evil. Evil has its allure.
We have to go to the question of why people kill. And in the Manson case, why do these young, well-educated, very smart children go off and do the bidding of an ex-con and slaughter all these people?
You know, I still just shake my head. You know, it started out so wonderful. It turned out so tragic and horrible. I still shake my head, and I'm sure that people sitting in prison are still shaking their head, going, how could I have done that?
My view is that everyone that did it, they already had murder to a certain degree coursing through their veins.
Really?
Yeah. Now, they never would have committed these murders if it had not been for Charles Manson. But I also believe they wouldn't have committed these murders if they didn't already have something inside of them, a deep hostility towards society, their parents, etc. And he was like the catalyst that brought it to the surface.
Manson, Charles Watson, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Leslie Van Houten are still alive, serving life in prison, after a Supreme Court decision commuted their death sentences. In 2008, Susan Atkins announced that she had terminal brain cancer. And in September 2009, Atkins died at the Central California Women's Facility. As for Manson, every few years, he comes before the parole board.
Good afternoon, Mr. Manson. Would you have a seat, please?
Manson's appearances are pure theater, the chance for him to play the role of evil incarnate.
Do you have remorse, Mr. Manson? Do you feel any remorse for the victims whatsoever?
I asked you back the same thing. You know, you've been using me ever since I was 10 years old. You used to beat me with leather straps, you know. It's like, does anyone have any remorse that I've spent 23 years in a solitary cell?
It might have been a kind of revenge against society. Society that he hated, the goodness, adults, everybody out there who was on the other side of the bars. It may have been a way to hurt, to get revenge against the people who had put him inside, created his life.
Each one of you is somebody. I am nobody. I'm nothing. I'm now. I've been now all my life. My mother went to prison and left me. And everybody's lied to me.
Patricia Krenwinkel and Leslie Van Houten are a different story. They accept responsibility for the murders.
It's very difficult for me to live with the fact that I could do anything so horrible and so horrendous, because that is not who I am.
But Krenwinkel argues that she's no longer a danger to society and should therefore be released.
I don't expect the board to say that I can go home. I am paying for this as best as I can. more I can do outside of being dead to pay for this, and I know that's what you wish. But I cannot take my own life.
I think the co-defendants, Watson and the others, have sincerely are sorry for what they did. However, even given that, taking it a step further, let's assume that they're rehabilitated, won't do it again. If justice means anything in America, they should spend the rest of their lives behind bars.
There are still these remnants of the Manson family. Other young people caught during that time are trying to start over.
The family members who were unscathed by murder have nonetheless had tough times as well. When did you wake up and leave?
When did I wake up? Maybe a decade later.
Really?
Yeah. Completely. I mean, I did a lot of time in prison. I became a criminal. I mean, I had, I went from bad to worse.
Catherine and a boyfriend robbed a gun store in L.A. She got 10 to life at the same prison that housed Leslie, Patricia, and Susan. Then ultimately you separated and went straight, if you will. What saved you?
What saved me? What saved me was knowing that I was loved and knowing that I was worth something. And it took years for me to find that out. I'm still learning about it.
What happened up there on the 8th floor in that courtroom has resounded through the years. Helter Skelter by Vincent Bugliosi became the most popular crime book in America. The Manson family continues to enjoy this notoriety, and we look back at what lessons. All the institutions that we created in society to lift our children up and teach them our values did not work for these kids. That given this environment that they unfortunately got into with a single leader, a cult-like figure, they were turned into killers. There's a lot to think about there. Maybe that's why it just goes on as a mystery and almost an unanswered problem for us. It could happen again.